What is going on, guys? Back here, season 4, episode 26 of Hit the Books Pod. Just me and Ace this week. No Jesse or Huff. They're out this week. Ace, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, like you said, we're back with another episode here. Just me and Mackie holding it down, the East Coast representing. And I think it's because our hockey teams are starting to play good hockey, and those Penguins fans are packing it in. Maybe they're hanging them up for the season, getting ready for the baseball season. I don't know if that's much more exciting in Pittsburgh either. But Livy Dunn might even be leaving there too. I don't know if that's just rumors or not. But yeah, I'm ready to get going on another week here. Playoff races heating up in the NHL and NBA. We just got through the All Star tournament, Four Nations tournament. That was pretty fun. I know I was out last week, so I know you guys covered that a little bit. NCAA's heating up too. You guys have been crushing it on the card, so ready to get going another week. Spring training's reported too, so sports are in full effect here.
Yes, sir. And we know those that Pittsburgh baseball team does really well for that first month. So after that first month, we know it's downhill, but they have something to look forward to. Um, let's get right into it. Let's get into the NHL first. Alexander Ovechkin continues his hunt of Wayne Gretzky's
Dog.
record after a hat trick on Sunday against the Oilers and a goal on Tuesday against the Flames. Ovechkin sits just 12 away from the record. Capitals have 24 games remaining this season. Does the grade 8 get it done this year?
Easily. I mean, easily. How do you see this not getting done? He doesn't want to play another season in the NHL. I
That's
thought I thought when he broke his leg or whatever he did earlier in the year, I was like, "Oh man, he's shooting himself in the foot. Like he's gonna have to go another year because of this." But he's been on fire. A hat trick a couple nights ago. He's been potting them left and right. He's even missing a few, but he's still keeping an incredible pace. But what do you think about the grade 8?
Yeah, that's my only thing is I feel like he's like, "Get me out of this league. Let me break this record and then get out of here." I think, he's definitely on a mission. I mean, my only thing is, we've seen this a lot with, like we saw it with Aaron Judge a few times, or not a few times, but that one time when he was, going for that home run record, he hit that slump towards the end of the season, he ended up getting it, but he went, like, 12 games, I think, without getting a home run, and I'm scared he's, like, lumping all these together, and he's gonna have, like, a 12 game skid where he's not gonna get a goal, which will obviously put him back heavy. But the fact that he was able to sit out, what did he sit out 2 months with a
Yeah,
broken
he
leg?
came back quick, especially at his age from a
Oh
broken
my
leg. I think
god,
it was
yeah,
less than 2 months.
he's on a mission. I think he gets there. I think it would be crazy if he didn't. I mean, he's got 8 goals in his last 8 games. He's only 12 away with double the games, more than double the games. So, um,
I'll tell you
yeah, I
what
think he'll
though,
get there.
having that Four Nations face-off, he's probably pretty disappointed like the rest of the Russians that they weren't in it, but he got a nice time to regroup, especially at his age, retool and be rested for the stretch run. And also, unlike Aaron Judge, they're gonna continue getting prime opportunities with the power play here. I mean, that's where he makes his money. Ovi's office, we know what he does. They're one of the best teams in the league, the least amount of regulation losses. They're sitting right up there with the Winnipeg Jets fighting for that President's Trophy, but the fact that they're able to win games and consistently be on the power play, he's been thriving in that role, and he's been putting in empty net goals left and right whenever he gets the opportunity, putting 6 to 8 shots on net a night. That's craziness. But they're going to keep looking to feed him, and those playmakers they put around him are really good. They find him left and right. I believe they get Riley Leonard too at the end of this year after the college season, so that'll
Yeah.
be pretty awesome to add to his line. Maybe he can assist the Ovechkin's top goal, but Stromer, McMichael, Wilson even stepping up. A lot of guys on that team playing great hockey and dishing to eat the puck. And he's looking for his. He's got a nose for the net. Been a fan of his since back in the day. No Penguins fans on here to talk about Sidney Crosby, but I was into that Ovechkin era as a kid. My brother took Crosby, so I immediately was attached to Ovechkin. I had all the t-shirts, jackets, sweatshirts, jerseys. So I just can't wait for him to break it. Gonna be the NHL's best goal scorer of all time, and can't wait to see it. And it's exciting that he's on a good team too, and he's gonna get a playoff run out of this one. Magical year for Capitals fans.
Yeah, it sounds like you're finally respecting those Caps there.
Yeah, they're still losing in the first round,
Come
automatic
on,
though.
you can't give him one playoff series win.
Nope. If they get one of our teams, especially
Yeah,
automatic loss. I
if
mean,
they
they're
can
gonna
get
get a good team there.
if they can get a good matchup.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. We'll
if
see.
Columbus sneaks in, they could take Columbus.
Yeah, we got to give some shout out to that depth they have. I mean, what they've built around them, they've rebuilt around an aging core. TJ Oshie with a nice quote saying that this is the closest team they've had since that cup run, perhaps even closer. Logan Thompson playing Vezina caliber hockey. The fact that he was left off of Team Canada, obviously they made the right choice with the way Bennington played in the finals.
Yeah.
But the fact he was left off that team is blasphemy, and he's just turned that whole season around. That team's looking great, and they're just going to keep getting better. Regular season heroes, though, I think once it gets to the playoffs, they're going to meet their match. But shout out to them and Ovechkin for what they're doing so far.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all rooting for Ovechkin to get there this year. 24 games left. Let's see if he does it.
Besides that Ovechkin goal race, I mean, what a time for hockey in general. I know we got a few other points. That Four Nations face off with the Chucks and all the fights
We
that
can get
Team
into that
USA
a little. We
versus
didn't
Canada.
we didn't get into it. because
Yeah.
you weren't on stream, but we can get into that a little if you want.
Yeah, but I'm just before we do, I'm just saying, like, time for hockey. Did you see that LA Kings, they hosted that celebrity event for the Los Angeles Fires? They had Steve Carell, Justin Bieber, all these big names, former athletes, former hockey players, big names, Snoop Dogg and Will Ferrell coaching teams.
Yeah.
And you also have the Ovechkin goal race going on, Team USA, Team Canada, Team USA juniors in the mix. I mean, the Kachucks are going on Saturday Night Live and big
They're
talk shows,
they're
growing the
on,
game.
New Heights, yeah.
Yeah, that's just growing hockey though, and it's just gaining more traction, a lot more fans. We see a little downtick in the NBA with their entertainment factor and their viewability, but
This is exactly what it needed. I mean, the Kachuk brothers bringing the light to this,
personality.
going on a podcast with Travis and Jason Kelce is huge. Canada USA rivalry is back at an all-time high, so that's I mean, it's great for the sport. Everything that's going on right now is great for the sport.
Yeah, and shout out to Canada coming back. I mean, McDavid having his Crosby golden goal moment. I know that the Four Nations face-off isn't as big of a stage as the Olympics or juniors or any of the other legit world title contention things, especially with Russia not in the
It's
mix.
literally it's just a substitution for the All-Star game.
Yeah,
Not
that's
to make
all it
it
is.
like, it's all it
I
is.
like the Big Cat and PMT, they took it on that part of my take podcast. They were like, "Oh, I mean, it's just congrats on getting another All-Star trophy. If we were Americans, it was so close to breaking that seal of
Yeah.
we're better than Team USA."
Yeah,
But Canada little brothered us once again with all the politics, the narratives behind it.
and who
Got
else
people
but
charged up.
McDavid?
Yeah, I mean, how do you leave that guy wide open?
Oh my
Austin
god,
Matthews,
that's Austin Matthews.
not the big time player, and Adam Fox catching a lot of flack from this tourney. I mean, he's just you've been watching it firsthand, but the season hasn't been his, and we just expect so much from him. He's still a very solid defenseman, one of the top defensemen in the world, but I thought he was going to make that jump to be like a top 3, top 5 defenseman. Now he's looking like he's between the 15 to 20 range.
Yeah, ever
Um,
since last year's playoff run, I feel like he's been off. I don't know what's going on with him,
How
but
about that coaching change by Sullivan, Torts, and Co., taking him immediately off the power play after the first one, inserting Werenski, who's up for Norris this year. Without Quinn Hughes, they had to find their guy. The left shot seemed to be the thing too. But I don't know about you, but I'm dialed for the Olympics next year. That's going to be absolute cinema. USA is going to make a few more tweaks to their roster. Hopefully, we get Quinn Hughes back. Hopefully, up front they can get in Tage Thompson,
Tage
Cole
Thompson,
Caulfield,
gotta get him
Clayton
in there.
Keller. Those guys have been on fire this year, just missed it. And since it's not an NHL sanctioned event, I think Team USA will put together a little bit better of a roster and look for Canada to match that intensity. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a guy like Tom Wilson to their bottom six. You know, the scoring that he's putting up this year on a career year, and then he can match that physicality and intensity that the Americans bring. It's going to be something to watch, but we're going to need that goal. We're going to get revenge in Italy. Did you rip Huff at all last week? Because he was one of the only Americans in the world that I know that was all over Team
We
Canada.
stayed away from it because we wanted to talk about it now, but, I did say I made sure everyone
Communist,
knew. I said,
traitor,
"Yup, Huff
Benedict
Canada,
Arnold.
don't let it go. Don't let it go unnoticed. Huff's still Canada. I don't care if you won or not."
How can you put your money on him? Save. I don't care if you put $100,
Listen, if you're putting
$1,000.
oh, if you're putting, like, 10K on it, okay, granted you won money. You put $100, it's not
Yeah.
making or breaking anything. Come on, man.
Yeah, you
Like,
gotta back the boys, and
have
it's
some
not like it was a
pride.
lock either, though. It literally went to overtime. Bennington
Exactly, yeah, he's like, "I love money." I'm like, "Listen, that coulda went either." Bennington made 3 6 saves in
U
overtime, and then
USA had the looks. They blew a late 2-1 lead. Sam Bennett, that little rat, always gonna hate that guy with a great goal set up by a great feed too. Mitch Marner, what a tournament by that guy.
yeah,
Had the
great.
assist on the game-winning goal. It beat my Bruins last night in overtime too. Hate that guy too, but he's playing some great hockey. Just knocked up his wife too, so maybe that's why he's riding high. But yeah, I mean, I was dialed. Team USA, free bird, everything. Like I said before, they were on the cusp of taking over this game. Back-to-back juniors years, all these draft picks, the NCAA gaining traction. Look at the depth on Team USA too. I know those top-end guys in Canada are better, but Team USA top to bottom, and
Deeper.
the guys that are left off, they're deeper and they're evolving. The game's getting better while Canada's kind of plateauing. But that guy, Connor McDavid, I mean, hey, he's pretty good, best player in the
I mean,
world.
you give him all that time and space in the slot, and 10
Even in
out
the
of 10
first game, though,
times
that first goal he had to open the scoring in
yeah,
the
it was
first
dirty,
matchup, that was
dirty.
disgusting.
Gotta
The
get gotta get him some accolades, right?
Gotta get Russian in the mix, though. I know Vladimir Putin's not helping their cause, but, that team's gonna be a wagon too. I know they're defensively weak, center lineup's pretty weak, but with the goaltending,
Some
they're the
good
best goaltending
tendies,
in the
yeah.
world, so, it'll be interesting. I don't know, but I'm just so hyped for that. It can't come soon enough. That's gonna be great, and there's gonna be a ton of viewership on it, and now we got
Yeah,
the
we
NHL
definitely need
playoffs just
some,
around the corner.
we need some
Af
revenge in that one.
After the intensity and physicality and hype that game brought about, everybody in the world is going to be ready now for NHL playoff hockey. I mean, so many people are going to be tuned in because that's what it brings night in and night out. And we're just on the cusp of it. Trade deadline just around the corner too, March 7th. We're going to see some big moves there. I don't know if my team's going to be buyers or sellers, but I know we got a couple other points in the NHL if you want to get to those as well.
Yeah, NHL regular season is quickly approaching the end, with most teams having between 22 and 27 games remaining in their season. Let's take a look at the playoff picture in both the Eastern and Western Conference to see who we think can secure final playoff spots. Look at the Eastern Conference. We have in the Atlantic Division, Toronto, Florida, and Tampa Bay, all pretty comfortable in those top three spots.
Mhm.
Toronto and Florida going back and forth and
What
for
about
one and
Florida
two,
without
but
Matty Tkachuk? If he's out for the rest of the year or at least an extended
could
point of
be
time,
could be lethal
I
for
was
sure.
talking to people the other day. I was like, I wouldn't
Even
mind seeing them in the playoffs without Matty Tkachuk.
even if you get him back late, I mean, he's gonna be a little definitely not 100%, and
Slow,
he's
yeah.
not gonna have the same intensity and everything. They might not be the same team in the playoffs even with him, but, definitely a huge blow to
They lost
Florida.
a lot of pieces in that offseason too. No more Radko Gudas, no more Brandon Montour. Some of the depth pieces weren't on their way, but they still have a lot of guys stepping up. You have Barkov, the best two-way center in the league.
Yep.
Luis Ryan and Lundell, they look good in the Four Nations tournament. Sam Bennett,
Of
like we
course, Sam
mentioned,
Bennett.
Verhage, Ekblad, Forsling. There's a lot of names on that team still.
There's
So
just too many pieces, yeah.
Vazzy's starting to heat up, talking about that Tampa Bay Lightning team. I mean, that break off, he's won like 4 or 6 in a row, something like that. And you have Cooch, Point, Gensel, I mean, Hedman, that team's scary. And then Toronto, I mean, I'll take them any day in the playoffs. They give goals up like it's their
It
job. Their
doesn't matter
defense,
what they do in the regular season,
yeah,
they're always gonna get to the playoffs, and they're always gonna choke.
they're still missing that big hitter on the depth, and that back end and goaltending woes are just too large for me. But they can put the puck in the net, and they stack up the points in the regular season. So you
And
know they'll be
usually
there.
with that 1 seed, it's a huge deal, but this year, I mean, you're gonna have some tough wild card teams, so, no matter what seed they get, they're gonna have their hands full in the first round.
Yeah, and what about that Metro? How's that looking?
Metro, we have Washington coming in at first with 12 regulation losses, which is the least in the league. Nobody saw that one coming in. Then you have Carolina and the Devils right behind them, both with 70 points. Carolina, one less game played. Um, I think we can agree that both those Atlantic and Metro divisions are gonna stay with the top 3.
Yeah, I think so too. It's really just around the bubble there, and the bubble's very interesting. It's super close. Nobody really pulling away yet. I think they're all sitting around 62, 63 points for that spot right now, right?
Yeah, let's look at the wild card here. We have Detroit with 58 games played, 66 points. Columbus, 58 games played, 64
Columbus doing
points.
it for Johnny, doing it for
Yeah,
Johnny right
I
now.
said in the beginning of the season, this team is playing for something different. They're stringing together wins. They're playing really good hockey.
Werenski being healthy is so massive
They
too.
beat Dallas last night, which was huge. Nobody saw that one coming. Sitting right outside, we have Ottawa with 57 games played, 62 points. The Rangers with 58 games played, 62 points, and the Bruins with 59 games, 62 points. After
Check.
that, you have Montreal 3 points behind, and Philly 3 points behind. So,
Which are still alive.
in my opinion, I think it's a 5 team race at this point. We have Detroit, Columbus, Ottawa, New York, and Boston.
Mhm.
Um,
I think
I don't know. What do
Detroit's
you
gonna
think here?
fall out of it. I think Detroit's gonna fall out of this. I know they've
Detroit is hot. I think they're 9-1-2 in their last 12 games. They're playing great hockey. They had a sick 2-0 comeback last night on the road, huge 2 points. I wouldn't count that team out.
they don't have the goaltending to stick around, in my opinion. And like we said, you could say the same about Columbus. I'm actually high on Mrozekins. He's a pretty good goaltender and kind of underrated. Sees a lot of shots night in, night out. They're playing for something different over there in Columbus too. And like we said, Barenski going for the North. The Red Wings though, they just lost another piece out for the year. They have some names like Patrick Kane, Lucas Raymond. What a tournament he put on in
Oh,
the
he's a
Four Nations.
dog.
He's
He's over
having
a
a
point per
year.
game this year.
Yep, Dylan Larkin also looked great in the Four Nations tournament too. Impact player in lower role, but as the captain of that team, he's got him going. They got Mo Sider, a couple of defensemen back there, but I'm not sold on the goaltending there. I think that's going to be the pivotal play to get them out. But look for, I believe it's Yzerman. He's got the Yzer plan up there in Detroit. Look for him to make a splash in this trade deadline. I think they could be buyers at the deadline, bringing
They're
a big name.
I think they're almost locked in as buyers. I think those 5 teams they gotta push for something.
Bruins, these next 4 coming up are going to determine if we're buyers or sellers. No Hampus Lindholm, no Charlie McAvoy for an extended period of
It
time.
just doesn't seem right for this Bruins team to be sellers at this point. Even if they're 5 points out, 2 games out of hand, you gotta assume they go for it with that lineup.
They always do, but the thing is, that's the thing. People are calling for Sweeney's head right now. So I'll be interested to see the moves they make. People talk about Marchand getting dealt. No shot that happens. We need Swayman to start playing up to his contract. Had a tough one last night. We had a 3-0 lead, ended up losing 5-4 in
Yeah, it's
overtime.
tough. It's
That's
tough.
couple of bad chances, a tough one off the rush too. Mason Lohrei stepping in well for McAvoy and Lindholm, but they need to get healthy. And what I would like to see the Bruins do, if we're buyers, I would like to see what this is what Neely and Sweeney do best is at the deadline. They bring someone in that they're going to trade for and then extend. Don't just trade for a rental. If we're the Bruins, we need to get a long-term piece. I saw our names linked to Bjorkstrand before. I wouldn't be mad at that, but you got to get a secondary scoring threat outside David Pastrnak, who's on a 15-game heater right now. And he's in like third or fourth in the league in scoring. Got to help that guy out. And then your Rangers. I mean, Shesterkin locked in now. He had one bad one about a week or two ago before the Four Nations. But other than that, he's starting to play some great hockey. And you have the talent up front. You already made your big splash. I don't know if anything else is really coming. Maybe some small tweaks in the lineup with some moves, but you brought in JT Miller, and he's probably one of the biggest names on the market you could have gotten.
And
So
a dog too.
they're loaded to go. I think if anything, they offload some things and just retool a little bit, but no more big splashes coming
Yeah,
their way.
they've made their big moves. We kinda hit our spot in the season where thankfully we started the season like 12-2-3, or we wouldn't even be in the question right now 'cause we hit that spot in the season where we were just downhill, couldn't win
I
a
bought
game.
low on them.
And they jumped on it quick. They made their moves. Got Trouba out of there, got Kako out of there, which I don't really agree with Kako, but obviously we get JT Miller back for Heedle, so that's a huge move. It's been huge for us. We're starting to win games. Playoff predictions. Who do you think gets those wild cards?
Rangers, Bruins, I think the 2 best teams that are in that hunt get it. I'm scared of those Columbus Blue Jackets because, like we said before, shout out to Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace. I saw them singing to Happy Birthday to Johnny Gaudreau Jr., Baby Johnny, at the game the other day. That was electric. But I don't think they have the team to get it done. I don't think they have the goaltending to get it done or the depth. But they have a lot of pieces up front, and they're playing well. A lot of role players, guys that came over to play with Johnny Hockey too. And Werenski, like we said, finally healthy in his career. People are like, "Oh, I never thought he was this good. Where did he come from?" No, he's
Oh,
always
yeah.
been that guy. He's just never been fully healthy. He hasn't been able to put together a full campaign, and it was on display for Team USA this year. And like I said, I think he takes home the Norris this season, either first or second in the league in defensive points. But the other team we haven't really mentioned is the Ottawa Senators. They're
Watch
always
out.
on paper, they're that team, but that
Ace,
organization just can't figure it out.
Ace, I was 2 years early on them.
Yeah, but but how true is it though? They just can't put it together when it
They
matters.
can, but I mean, they're on a little streak right now. They have the names, and whenever you have Brady Tkachuk
Yeah.
to just do what he does best and get in other team's head and just momentum swing, and yeah, they have those guys. Obviously, Pinto's stepping up a little. Stutzel's been playing
Sanderson,
incredible.
Chabot.
Sanderson, yeah, they have the names. They have the goaltending in Omar
Can
as
Linus
well.
Ullmark stay healthy though? That guy's been in and out of the lineup all year long. I know they called up that young guy who stepped in well and played some good hockey in his absence, but you need Ullmark at full strength the rest of the way if you're gonna make a legitimate push.
Listen, I don't think we're talking about this team going too far anyway. I think
We're getting there.
if they get there, they are a first round exit probably in 5 games. They're not quite there yet, but I think that they're definitely worthy of a wild card this year. I'm not saying they're gonna get there because I mean, it's
But they
in my
have the
opinion,
talent to
there's
do it.
all 5 of these teams are worthy of a wild card spot, but, they're just not a real threat for a cup yet.
No, but you wanna know what's been pretty funny? I don't know if it's gonna happen this year, I really don't think it will, but eventually Brady Tkachuk's gonna get out of there. That
Oh, for
they're
sure.
always talking about him being on the move, relinking up with his brother Matthew. That would just be dynamite to see the 2 of them on the ice, and I wouldn't wanna play against them
They
in the
wouldn't
regular
get him
season.
down in Florida.
I don't know, I saw some mock trades, they'll be giving up big name they have the names to do it. You'd be giving up Reinhart, you'd be giving up some prospects and picks as well. But I saw a lot of Panthers fans saying, "I don't wanna move
Yeah,
Reinhart
I
because of the
wouldn't want
connection."
him. I wouldn't think that's worth it.
No, but at the same time, I don't wanna play against the 2 Tkachuks
Yeah,
together
yeah, I guess you're right, but dude,
at all.
Reinhart, I mean, he had 50 goals last year.
Yeah, you have to give up something if you're bringing in that guy, though. He's younger than his brother, already a captain. I think he's like 24, 25 years old. Um,
And
so it's
he plays the same role as his brother, which is probably the most crucial role in all of hockey, so
all these
yeah.
teams are gonna be buyers, though, I think. I'm pretty sure, like we said with the Rangers, not too much move. Bruins, I think they're gonna be cautious with their moves there as they have a big offseason looming, but I think that we see the Red Wings definitely buy. I think we see the Senators bring in a piece as well. I don't know too much about the Blue Jackets, what they like to do, smaller market team. They might just roll with what they got and see what they can do playing with house money there. Not really expect them to be in the mix, but, the trade deadline is gonna heavily impact this wild card race, and we'll definitely keep you guys tuned as it gets rolling along in the East.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rangers Jackets just because I think the Jackets play for Johnny and find a way in, and I'm just gonna go with my
The feel
Rangers,
good story.
but, I could see any of those 5 teams. Getting over to the Western Conference, we have Winnipeg, Dallas, and Minnesota in the top 3 in the Central.
Minnesota
Winnipeg's been
slipping.
having an incredible year. They lead the way with a 9-point lead over
Winnipeg and
Dallas.
Dallas are locked into those top 2 spots.
Yeah, Minnesota's only 4 points behind Dallas, but I don't see them catching up.
A weak second half, though. I could see them continuing to slip. They've put together a great roster. I believe Bill Guerin, the GM of Team USA, is the GM for the Wild as well, and they have a great roster. Matt Boldy, Brock Faber, what great draft picks they
Young
were.
names, fire, yeah,
Yeah,
great young
and
hockey
but
players.
they also have Kirill, who's on the shelf right now. They're winning without him. Ericsson's a good leader. They have a bunch of other strong players in that locker room. I don't know how sold I am on the goaltending. We saw Gustafson snap off this whole year, and he played
You'll love
well in
him
the Four Nations tournament. But I'm with you. I don't love him either, and it's Fleury's last run. But I think this team makes the playoffs, but I could see them dropping into the wild card.
for sure. Top 3 in Pacific, Vegas, Edmonton, LA.
LA,
Um,
LA
Vegas,
overachieving.
Edmonton will definitely be there. LA, I'm not sold on them. I think it's a
They'll be
weak
a wild card
division.
team too. Yeah.
It's a weak division. They might be able to slide in, but,
They just win
um
hockey games. We were talking about this earlier. I was talking about this with Huff because you know how he's a big Penguins fan. They didn't figure out their rebuild around their superstar veterans. They just kept paying the old guys, paying the old guys. The Kings, on the other hand, they won a few cups back in the day. They offloaded a few of their big names. They kept around the guys like Kopitar and Doughty, and they've
brought
got
in,
a
like,
lot of
Byfield.
they've brought in youth around them.
They got
Fiala,
Alex Turcotte.
Tempe, yeah, Turcotte, he's been good. Byfield's great. Brant Clark's a great young defenseman. They've been making the right moves left and right, to stick around, and it's just surprising. I don't think they're that good, but on paper, those standings don't lie, and they win a lot of hockey games. I got them losing tonight, but I think they could slip down to the wild card, but I think I'll lock them into the playoffs as well. The Avalanche still sitting in this wild card. I know you're about to go over it, but other than that, it's pretty wide open behind those Avs.
Right, yeah. Wild card, Avs, first wild card with 68 points. Calgary, second wild card, 64 points. And then we get Vancouver with 63, first team out. Utah with 61. St. Louis with 60, and then it probably drops off. I don't think anybody
Would
else
you
has
be
a chance.
afraid of the St. Louis team to catch some fire with Bennington, head coach Jim
No,
Montgomery?
no, I would not. I would.
They might be sellers at the deadline.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be sellers. I think they'd have to go on like a 4 or 5 game winning streak like now to get back into it.
They just have the
Um,
clutch gene, a lot of those guys, and I like their coach, Jimmy Mott, Bruins former Bruins coach, good coach there.
Listen, we've seen a team like that hit a hot streak before and they ended up going on to win a cup, beating your Bruins in the Stanley Cup. So, um, I know it was Bennington's rookie year. I know it's a completely different team, obviously, but if Bennington gets hot at the right time, I could see them making a playoff run, maybe.
I
But
think he already won his big game this
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. Um,
What about
yeah.
those Flames? They're always in the mix, and they're not a good team. They're not expected to
I
be good, but you have to have some respect for Dustin Wolf, the rookie goaltender out there. I
He's
mean, as a
playing
goalie
great. He's
yourself,
playing
that guy,
incredible.
he's one of the next generation goaltenders.
He was waiting for his number to be called too. I think he's been sitting down there in the
Sitting
AHL for 2,
yeah.
3 years, and he's playing great hockey. He's got this team where they are for a
That's
reason,
why they
and
moved Markstrom.
yeah, I could see this team getting into the playoffs. They're sitting pretty right now. They have 1 point over Vancouver, no games in hand, but I mean,
That Flames team too, they have a lot of guys that you forget about. Huberdeau, I mean, he was once a 100-point player. He was in
how's
the
he
deal
doing
for
this
Matthew
year?
Tkachuk. Still not what we would want him to be at, but he's a much more
'Cause
valid
I
player.
know last year he definitely
Brutal,
shit
yeah.
the bed. Yeah, it was a terrible trade by Calgary.
They still got Blake Coleman. They have some other names. My guy Nazem Kadri, big fan of him ever since he was in Toronto. I hated him when he played my Bruins, but he won a cup with the Avs. He's a great center. Force to be reckoned with on the power play as well. So they're definitely going to be in the mix. But Vancouver is too talented to not get there. But now with Demko on the shelf, they just extended Lankinen, who also played well in the Four Nations tournament, who's been playing well all season long. I think they end up edging out that Calgary team for the spot because they're too good not to. But there's been a lot of problems in that locker room this year. Elias Pettersson, not really what we as advertised, I
Well,
guess you could say.
dude, I mean, last year they had 4 or 5 guys in the top 20 in scoring, and this year they have none. I mean, they had Besser, they had Pedersen, they had JT Miller, they had, who am I drawing a blank on? I don't know, but they have all these top guys, and this year they're not
JT Miller,
producing like they
Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Connor Garland, Quinn
Connor
Hughes.
Garland, yeah, Quinn Hughes, I mean, but Quinn Hughes being
He's
injured,
hurt. Yeah.
obviously huge. This team has way too much firepower to not make the playoffs, but I mean, if they're just gonna keep playing like this, I could definitely see them not getting
I
in.
trust Lankinen to keep them in the mix though and get them into the playoffs.
It's
That's one
gonna
of the
be
best backups you can have in the league, and
it's gonna
he deserved extension. He just got 4 more years.
I think it's gonna come down to Vancouver and Calgary, and I mean, whoever gets hot at the right time later down the stretch, I think is gonna get that nod, but, um, I could definitely see Vancouver slipping out here.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to follow. The West isn't as tight as the East there, but a few teams still in the mix, and I expect those Avalanche to jump out of wild card territory and take either the third or second spot in one of those divisions. Who are your Stanley Cup picks? I know we've went over this. Coming out of the West, I have the Dallas Stars to get to the Cup this year and win the Stanley Cup. In the East, obviously, I would say my Bruins. That's who I'm going to pull for the whole time. But if I had to go unbiased pick here, I think I could see the Tampa Bay Lightning get there again. Once again, they haven't been in a few years. Everybody kind of counting them out, saying this dynasty is over and whatnot. but I think they might show that they're still in the mix, and they have too much talent on that team. Cirelli, Hagel, Nick Paul, that's all behind the studs like Gensel, Point, Kucherov, Hedman, and then Vasilevsky in the pipes. You can never count him out. I got the Lightning losing to the Stars in the finals, but let me hear your
You have the
prediction.
Stars getting it done.
Yeah, the Stars finally winning a
Wow.
cup. They're too good not to.
Wow.
They're too good not
Yeah,
to.
but we've seen it
And
time.
they're playing the game. You know what game they're playing right now, right? LTIR. Learned it from the Vegas Golden Knights. They're housing guys there, and
Oh,
I think I
learned
don't
it
think
learned it
I
from
don't think
Tampa.
I don't think they're done adding either. I think they're gonna, you know how Heiskanen's done for the year? I think they add another big defenseman. They brought in, I believe it's Cody Ceci and Mikhail Granlund. How great is Mikhail Granlund, by the way? That guy's having a career year. But I think they make another splash. This team wants, they know they're in their window right now, a mix of youth and veteran leadership. Guys like Wyatt Johnston hitting his pace. He's on a career pace now. Stankoven as well. Um, I love what they have throughout this lineup. Rupe Hintz, Robertson, I could go on and on. Ben, there's so many great players from that. Thomas Harley, how great was he? And now his game's only elevating from that Four Nations call up.
Yeah.
That team is just Issa Lindell. There's so many people I could name on this roster. Otter and net. I think they finally get the job done. This is the year. I have my ticket sitting on the fridge for them to win the Stanley Cup. I think they can do it. But I got them over the Bolts. Let me know who you've got coming
Yeah,
out of
we've
each
we've
conference.
seen we've seen Dallas too many times. I'm gonna have to see to believe it before I actually take it. I'm gonna go with Edmonton to run it back, in the Western
McDavid winning
Conference.
Four Nations and in the
I
West.
yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna win it, I'm just saying he's gonna get there. The East is wide open. I mean, you have Toronto and Washington in those top seeds, who I don't think either will get
Carolina.
there. Um,
Do they get over the
Florida
hump?
Florida, Matthew Tkachuk injured. Tampa, I don't think has the team this year. I mean, I guess they could get there, but then again, Carolina and New Jersey, I mean, Carolina, we know what happens every year. It doesn't matter how good that team is, they're gonna
Mhm.
lose in the second round. And then, Jersey, I can't take Jersey, so I'm gonna go. I guess I can go with the Rangers here. I'm not really
Oh
sold on
god,
that
they
just
might not
yet.
even get there. That's your
Yeah.
pick to come out of the East?
You just said Boston.
That was my, yeah,
Oh,
that was my biased pick. Give me an unbiased one. Who you got
okay.
besides your own
I
team?
do. I guess.
No, I know, it's a valid pick,
I
but
guess
give me
Carolina.
someone else.
I guess
Yeah.
Carolina.
They gotta get over the hump at some point. How great would that be if we saw, like, Carolina, Dallas, 2 teams someone would have to win.
Listen, if
That
the
would be
Rangers aren't involved in the playoffs this year, I wouldn't mind seeing Carolina there. I think they have the team for it. I mean,
they
that
brought in Mikko Rantanen.
yeah, I mean, that roster's loaded. I think they lost that trade. I think Natchez is, I mean,
Yeah,
he's doing his best
and
over
you don't
there,
know
and
if you're keeping Mikko either.
exactly. I think he's got a little
But
attitude
what about
problem. I
that
don't really know.
defensive core, though? I mean, they brought in Gostisbehere, they have Slavin.
They have Slavin. I mean, oh my
We saw
god,
him,
dude.
and then you still have Brent Burns, Dmitry Orlov. They have one of the best head coaches in the league too. I can't believe that he can't get over the hump in the Eastern Conference Finals, Rob Brendamore. Um, Big fan of what he brings to the table, but I think that's not a bad pick either. They're too talented not to get there. Too much firepower. Maybe Aho and Svechnikov will show up in the playoffs for once. Those guys like to go dormant at times, but I think they'll get there. The depth is great too.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll go
some good picks.
Carolina, Edmonton. I guess if Carolina gets there, we'll give them the nod for the
You
cup.
don't think McDavid goes? He didn't find the winning stroke by playing with Crosby.
Maybe.
You know,
Hopefully he does. I mean, that guy needs some accolades other than a Four Nations Cup.
I would hope he. I just hope he leaves Edmonton one day and finally wins a cup
I feel
elsewhere.
like if he
That'd
doesn't
just
win
be
in the next 1, 2
hilarious.
years, it's he's gotta get out of there. Wait,
Yeah,
he's on a contract year this year.
we saw Draisaitl almost get out of there. Remember that?
Yeah, they were talking about it in the offseason. Listen, if they don't win it this year, I could see McDavid out of there.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I think he'll end
Get
up
to a
getting this
bigger
cup in
market,
Edmonton.
come to New
Yeah,
York.
but for his legacy, he's a Canadian through and through. He wants to
Yeah.
stay up there.
But he's an Eastern Canadian.
True, true. It'll be fun to follow though. We'll definitely have a lot. And like we said, that trade deadline is going to be freaking massive for the NHL coming up in just about a week here. So 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
NHL definitely heating up. Got a lot going on in the next month or two, so just keep your eyes peeled on those. Gonna shift over to the NBA here. Big news, obviously, is Luka Doncic on the Lakers. We had a big game last night. Lakers Mavericks in LA would have been cooler if it was in Dallas, but we get it in LA. Luka Doncic got his revenge on the Dallas Mavericks in his first matchup against a team since a blockbuster trade that sent Luka to LA. Luka had 19, 15, and 12. Um,
I
how
watched
could
that. You watched that game last night?
I watched some of it, yeah, I think, you know,
Mark Cuban chuckling after that big three.
yeah,
Lucas staring down the
it was
GM.
all the dramatics, it's just classic NBA, it's all entertainment, great game. Kyrie kept it interesting, I think Kyrie had a great
Kyrie's
game,
been great.
35 points. Yeah, he's done incredible since, Luka's been gone,
Klay
but,
Thompson, good second half. He started off slow.
They have those pieces and
And then
stuff,
you
but
see the big name, though, sitting on the bench, Anthony Davis.
I
Hopefully, they
know.
can get him back soon enough because I don't think you wanna see that team in the play-in tournament if they're healthy.
If they can get there, yeah. I
They
mean,
gotta get there.
they have some work to do for sure. Um,
That Lakers team too, bringing in Luka, the resurgence of, Reeves has been great. Leading scorer now on that team, that guy's just popping off.
Dude, they have 3 guys that put up 20 points a game now. I
Mhm.
mean, Reeves has been absolutely incredible. I
I think
think,
it was good that they kept Dalton Neck too. I know they needed the big guy, and that would've been a great piece, but he's a really good player.
well, they just gotta play more small ball now. LeBron's gonna have
Mhm.
to play more of a bigger role in that 4 or 5 spot, which he can do, obviously, it's LeBron. It's
Rui
just
Hachimura, not a bad piece. He was always supposed to be a big guy too.
he's
Um,
also gonna have to play a big role in that 4 or 5 spot as well. They just don't have a main 5, and it could hurt them come playoffs, but everybody buys in. They play that trap. They've been playing it so well. Um,
I'm still
they
sticking
can
with
get the job
Lakers
done.
Celtics finals here. I'm still sticking with it.
You're taking the Lakers to the finals.
Yeah, I think Luka Doncic, he hasn't turned it up yet with that team, but with LeBron Ja is this LeBron's last go at a title potentially?
Not if
It's
they run it back next year.
yeah, if they run it back next year, they're right there too. But, like, with Bronny James on the team, with Luka in the mix,
I mean,
and last year, the Celtics just passed the Lakers for most titles in the league. How cinematic would that be? Almost scripted to get these 2 in the finals
yeah,
this
and then
year.
who you take? I mean, you gotta take the Celtics,
I'm gonna
obviously,
take the
but,
Celtics, but it
like,
could go either way.
how story script would it be for the Lakers to win it?
To tie up the series?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, right? But the thing is that Celtics team way too deep, way too
Yeah, I
deep,
mean,
way
they
too
they lose games, but, I mean, we've seen it with the Knicks every time it comes down to those big games, even with the Cavs, I mean,
They take care of business
I
when it
think they're
matters.
2-1 against the Cavs this year as well,
3 and
so
0 against the Knicks, 2 and 1
yeah,
against the Cavs.
they're still a big dog for sure until proven otherwise, but, I'm gonna go with I guess I can go with the Lakers as well. I mean, that Western Conference, nobody's really proven. I think I'm taking them over Denver, who's the only other team that's really
I like the
proven.
Nuggets, I like the
OKC, I'm
Nuggets.
not. I don't think it's getting there.
No, I don't think OKC not yet, but they still have a very bright future,
I
very,
mean,
very
dude,
bright
they
future.
the fact that they blew that lead the other night just says
Mhm.
enough. I mean,
What
that's
about the you
it's
sold on the Rockets or the Grizzlies at all? I'm
no,
not.
not yet, not yet. Grizzlies, definitely not. I
Ja
mean,
Morant, though, I mean, that guy with the game on the line, he turns up. And when he's not waving a gun around or acting like a fool, he's one of the best players in the league. And I saw it last night. He crushed my son's bet. I know you hit him on the spread. I took him on the money line, almost plus 300, and he put the game into his hands and took over and ended up winning it in overtime.
I did sprinkle money line off, but which is brutal. I mean, that was
Yeah, the
disgusting, but
30 seconds left, and he just
what are
took
your
over.
thoughts on the Warriors with Jimmy? I think they're 5-1 since gaining him. Do you think that they're actual contenders to get deep in that Western Conference?
I think they can get out of the play-in tournament.
That's it?
Yeah, I think that's
You don't think they match up against, like,
Denver, no.
Memphis in the first round and
If
they
they
can get
get
it?
them, they could, but Memphis has a lot of good players, though, that's the thing. I like what they have there, younger guys that are hungrier. I know that you can go with a lot of story thing, and I'm a Warriors guy, a little bandwagon Curry guy right here,
Me
but,
too.
Draymond Green as well, I'm a big fan, and, Steve Kerr, even though he disrespected my guy Jason Tatum, I think he's a great coach. Um, I don't know, I just can't take them winning a series. I think that Steph doesn't have too much more ahead of him, but how cinematic would that be too if you get a Warriors-Lakers late round matchup?
Well, I think we got it last year, didn't we? Or 2 years ago?
Early though, it was early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was second round, I think, or
Yeah.
maybe whenever the Lakers went deep, it was,
It might have been the first round out of the
yeah,
play-in.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but we
But
did
yeah,
get one.
and then the East, I know you're gonna be backing your Knicks, but is
No,
there
I
anybody that
can't.
can beat
How
the
could I back them right now? They can't be a good team.
no.
Like
Can
I said,
anybody who's the biggest threat to the Celtics? Do you think it's the Cavaliers? I really don't. I
it's
think
gotta
it's
be
the
the Cavs.
Bucks.
It's gotta be
I
the
think it's the
Cavs.
Bucks.
I at this point, I really don't think there's much of a threat. I'm Cavs do play the Celtics
Donovan
well.
Mitchell folds in the playoffs, though. He's been doing it his whole career.
Has he?
Yeah, think about those Utah Jazz teams that would be expected to go deep, and they would just fold early on. He's been in this spot before. He's no newcomer to a top seed in a conference, and he just doesn't show up when it matters. And I know that he has a lot of pieces around him, and they'll have an easy matchup early on. But if they get the Pistons, say in the first
No
round, that's
way,
not an
dude.
easy.
Come on. Come
I
on.
like the Pistons.
No.
I've been betting on them all year long. I'll take the Cavs to win the
Yeah, this
series. But
team's 48-10. We're not talking
Cade
about
Cunningham's one of the best players in the league.
ethical hoops wise, yes, but not like 5 on 5. Not yet. Not yet.
I know, I know. I wouldn't take them to beat them, but I think that's gonna be that's a tougher 8 seed than we've seen in years past. I know the Heat sometimes give people trouble because of what they built there, but, talent-wise, I don't know. The
No,
Pistons, it's
he especially without Jimmy now, they're out of the
no, no, not I'm not saying this year, but, like, he of years
in
past, like,
recent
they were
yes, yeah,
scary
uh-huh.
because of what they could do. I'm not scared of the Sixers. I don't know if you saw Paul George's comments today. "I'm getting off my podcast and locking in to win a
The
championship."
Sixers are not even gonna make the play-in. They're 17 games under 500, 20
Yeah.
and
Did you see
37.
that, though, today? Paul George said he's done with podcasting because he needs to lock in for a
No
championship.
way.
Yep.
For a championship,
For a championship.
they have to get to the play-in first.
Yeah, that team's brutal. What about
Um,
those Pacers? Are you scared of them at all?
no, no, come on. I don't wanna hear it. Nemhart owns the Garden, whatever. We were injured, different team this year. This is where that fine line is. The Knicks beat those teams. You're not gonna beat those top 2 seeds in the
What
East.
if they see the Bucks, like,
I'm
say,
good.
in the
I'll take
first or
them.
second
I'll take
round?
them.
That'd be a good
I'll
matchup.
take the Bucks. I think the only 2 teams that can and will beat the Knicks in the playoffs are the Celtics
Knicks
and
and the
Cavs.
Cavs. So, you're just thinking they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals maybe?
Who?
The Knicks.
No, because they're gonna have to play the Celtics in the second round.
That's
It's
true.
almost inevitable that they definitely have to play one of them in the second round. But, I'm not gonna say the Cavs are gonna beat the Celtics because I don't think they are, but I think they'll give them a run for their money, especially the way they're playing on home court. 27-4 at home this year. Gonna be hard. They're gonna take one at home because Cavs are probably gonna get that 4 games at home, but it's gonna be hard to beat them at home, and they're not gonna
I just don't know how the people let the Celtics get such a good roster, and they just keep
it's
evolving, keep
GM,
getting a year
front
older.
office.
Yeah, they've been the best front office out of all sports of all time. They've
I
been doing
mean,
this
the
year in
fact
and
that
year
they
out.
got Drew Holiday was just
For
kinda
a bag of chips.
the icing on top.
Kristaps Porzingis for a bag of chips. Trading away Marcus Smart and getting a
Yeah, but
haul for him?
Chris Stapps hasn't been healthy enough
It
for I
doesn't
mean,
matter. We
don't
saw
get me
this
wrong,
last
he's
year.
great. Yeah, but he didn't have to do anything last year.
He stepped into the finals and played well.
He limited minutes. I don't even think he played game 2 and 3.
But when he was on the floor, he was an impact
No,
player.
right. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. I'm saying he
They
just
were never backs against the wall
it's
where they had to spam him.
exactly, and he just hasn't had the same impact that Drew Holiday's had. But, I mean, you have, like, Derek White shooting 7 for 10 from 3 against the
That
Knicks.
guy's great. I mean, he would
Get
be
the
a
fuck out. I
key
mean,
player on every team.
no, that's what I'm saying,
What
he's
about
like
Peyton Pritchard,
he's
sixth
like
man
a
of the
7th,
year?
8th option, and he's out here draining threes left and right. It's just this team's too deep.
Pritchard too. I wonder if they'll keep him. I know he could get a big payday if he left. But he's going to take home that sixth man of the year award for sure, in my opinion. And then Jason Tatum. How crazy is it that guy still catches flack because of the numbers he doesn't put up? That guy's just playing winning basketball. Isn't that what you'd rather see if
I
you're Jason
I
Tatum?
just think he's such a goon, man. I mean, he's just
Why?
like
Because he rips off everybody's celebrations.
first of all, he's the most unauthentic person of all time, and then he has to play the victim card all the time, dude. Like you're a gold
Well,
medal
he did get
champion.
hosed over in the Olympics. Come on.
Okay, yeah, he got hosed over, but you're a gold medal champion. You're an NBA champion, and then he's playing like victim, like he doesn't like get accredited enough for like anything. And I'm
He
like,
doesn't. All he does is catch flack, and all he does is win basketball games. Hey, I'll respect it. It's just more fuel to
I
the
don't think
fire.
he catches that much slack. I think if anything, it was just the playoffs last
I
year.
saw something yesterday. There was some reporter saying that he is not worth the money he gets paid because he doesn't put up the stats like he should. It's like, buddy, do you not see who he's playing with?
He has the most points, rebounds, assists, and steals on that whole roster.
Oh yeah, no, I
Leads
definitely believe that. But
leads
they
the team
think
in all of
they.
them.
I saw this though. Imagine if he was on a team with nobody else, the numbers he'd put up. I mean, it'd be astronomical.
I just he needs to stop trying to shoot the 3 ball, I think.
That's
He
just the Celtics though. They just rip threes whenever they can.
Yeah, but dude, like, he drives the lane, nobody's stopping him.
Oh yeah, you're just preaching to the
And he
choir
gives it up for, like, step back threes half the time, and I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
because he
Like,
doesn't even need to go to work and,
even
and
I
drive
just
the
think
paint.
he wants to, like, evolve his listen, if he can evolve his 3-point, you can't stop the guy, but, he wants to evolve that game so bad, and it's just not there yet, and it's giving up a lot of
And then
value for him.
You know who doesn't get any flack is Jaylen Brown. People love how hard he works, and that's just like
I think he gets too much love now.
yeah,
I
they
do.
act like
I
he's
really
better than
do.
Tatum,
Yeah, like, he's not better than Tatum,
but he's really good.
and he has no left. That is
Never
a true
has.
statement, but,
But
I
then
mean,
but like I said before, the guy that I'm gonna keep singing some praise of is Peyton Pritchard. That guy coming off the bench, leading your
I
second
think you
unit is
should give
just
more praise to Derek White than Peyton Pritchard.
oh, I feel like I did that already last year. I mean, the defensive clamps that him and Drew can put onto people is just absurd. That's the tough thing when you play the Celtics. They can score so easily on both sides of the second side of the floor on defense. They match up very well with everybody. They still have Al Horford sticking around too. I mean,
Alright,
that
quick,
team's tough to beat.
Eastern Conference Finals matchup, who do you have? And
I
how
think
many
it's just
games?
gonna be chalk, 1-2, Celtics, Cavs. I
How
got the
many games?
Celtics in 6.
Okay, so they win it on home court. Western Conference, who do you got? How many games?
Oof, I've got the Lakers over the Nuggets there. I hope they don't see each other too early on, or else that would make it impossible, but I hope it works out to it's Lakers, Nuggets, and that's gonna go 7.
Okay. And then finals, you have Lakers.
Lakers, Celtics in, I think that'll be so hyped up, Celtics in 5, just like last year.
Yeah, Luca
Yeah.
and LeBron out the door in 5.
Yep. Yep, all the hype
Okay.
just for nothing.
All right, I'll go Boston and Cleveland as well. I'll go Boston in 7, in Cleveland, get the job done. I'm gonna go did I take the Lakers as well? I think yeah, I'm gonna go Lakers, Thunder, um, Western Conference Finals. I'll go Lakers in 6, and then I'll go yeah, you gotta go with Boston. I'll give the Lakers 2, Celtics in 6.
Yeah, back-to-back titles. I think that the Lakers would just be happy to get there if they do end up getting there. I think
I don't know, dude, because they wanna get LeBron one more ring so
yeah,
bad.
but
I think we're dude, if the Lakers get there, the momentum they're gonna
you know
have
how
going into
gassed
that.
Luca and LeBron are gonna be, though? Talk about 2 guys who get gassed
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Especially if they're in a long series at some point, which you know they will be if they're moving on. I think every series could be long for that team. They're gonna rely on the clutch gene of LeBron and Luca.
Oh, but LeBron best player of all time will never even be a question. Beating the Warriors in 2016, beating the Celtics
Oh, yeah.
at 41, 42 years old, I mean, that
Yeah.
that conversation will be over.
Exactly, but one thing I would like to say is that Thunder team, though, they're gonna be a tough out for whoever they get because 'cause they're so deep as well. I don't know if you've been watching we had the back-to-back nights of matchups, and you
No
guys talked
chat
about it on
either
the live
yet.
stream. No, he's back.
He didn't
He's
play the other night.
no, he's they're just doing load management with him. He's
Gotcha,
playing, like, every other night,
gotcha.
but, he's actually playing tonight. He did you see that matchup of the new next faces of the NBA, SGA and Anthony Edwards going
Yeah,
head to head? That was
indeed.
kinda nice to see. I mean, those guys are gonna be a force to be reckoned with in the West. Can Anthony Edwards make some noise out West? I know he's gonna have to survive a play-in tournament if he can get there, but
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting in a play-in spot right now. He's tied with the Clippers for that 6th spot, so he can easily get out of that play-in tournament, but
can they make any noise or no?
no, I think losing Cat was huge for them, even though Cat shit the bed last year in the playoffs. I think Julius Randle's n
Randall and Gobert been hurt left and
Randle
right
just
too.
wants the ball in his hands too much. He's not that type of player. He can't stay healthy. Same with Rudy this year. You're gonna need a big spot out of Donte DiVincenzo off the bench, and McDaniels is gonna have to step up big too.
Yeah,
McDaniels
just not enough
been playing
forces
really
to
well.
match up with those other teams,
Yeah,
though.
I mean they can get out of a playoff series maybe if they get a good matchup in the first round, but other than that, they don't have the star power.
Yeah.
And it's good. Don't get me wrong. I take him over n- everyone but probably 6 guys in the league. It's just I don't think he can carry that team to a championship.
No, I mean, neither. He needs we've said this before, he needs a big piece to come over in the offseason. Maybe a guy like LaMelo Ball or Trae Young would be awesome to see up there
Add
in Minnesota.
LaMelo over there. Now
Yeah.
LaMelo and Ant would bash heads too much.
Yeah, but I just wanna see those guys go play meaningful basketball because 'cause they're too good not to. But NBA is gonna be heating up too. I think there's gonna be, some more moves made in that league as well, so we'll definitely keep our eyes out over there. But, it's gonna be a hotly contested one, and I think it's some big dogs in the East, but that West is wide open with a lot of good teams.
For sure. Gonna be a nice stretch down the NBA as well. NHL and NBA both looking at good playoffs this year. Let's get over to the MLB. Spring training is well underway now. Any news that's caught your eye? More to come on baseball just around the corner with opening day on March 27th, 30 days away. 30, I
It's
guess it's less
29 now?
now.
29, I think?
Yeah, 29, 28, something like that. But yeah, what are your thoughts going into the season? What do you think about Boston with all their moves? I like them. I mean they're in a tough division. Could be a wild card team, but that would be a lethal wild card team at the end of
This
the
is a
day.
this is a likable Red Sox team. I mean, that's why I'm not surprised to hear you say that. Unlike teams of Red Sox past, it's a lot of youth here. And that pitching staff they put together, they brought in Crochet, they brought in Walker Bueller.
You said
They're
last year they're a little ahead of schedule, so I think
yeah.
they're right on pace
This year,
now.
they have one of the top prospects that's gonna be up this year, Christian Campbell playing second base. I saw him in someone's top 10 second baseman ranking already. He flew up the prospect chart, so I'm eager to see him get in the mix. But their lineup top to bottom is really good, and look at that bat they had in Alex Bregman. I wasn't sold on him coming here, but now that I look at the lineup with him in it, we need that right-handed power bat playing at home. There's a little controversy going on because Rafael Devers wants to keep his third base
Yeah.
spot and he's pushing back. But the thing is, he led the league in errors last year, and
He
Bregman's a
has
gold glove third baseman.
he has the worst defensive rating of any third
And
baseman in the
Bregman's
league.
literally a gold glover.
But Devers obviously has that attitude. He's a face of Boston. I mean, I get wanting to play
I
the
w
field and play your
I want him to
position,
be a
but
DH, though. I want him to be a
yeah,
DH.
I mean, most Red Sox fans should, but Yeah,
That
that'll
lineup's
be
just gross, though. I mean, they have one of the best ones. They have the biggest WAR. Their WAR projection's super high. It's a big baseball stat there. Wins above replacement.
Mhm.
That they brought in. It's over 10. Like I said, we got to see how the pitching does. Crochet was a great trade in my opinion. We gave up Kyle Teal, a good catching prospect, but Connor Wong steps up well, and then Walker Bueller. A couple other big moves out there. Excited to see that Orioles team. I think they were ahead of schedule too. I think they're going to continue playing well. We're just in the toughest division in baseball.
I know, there's so many good teams.
Um,
Even
but
the even the Blue Jays, getting
Blue Jays
Scherzer
are
and
good.
everything,
The
so
Rays, I think, are gonna be in the basement, but the Blue Jays, they're
Blue
gonna
Jays
be.
should be losing Vlad before the season starts, though.
Yeah, I think there's too much turmoil. I think Bo Bichette could be on the way out too. He had a down year, and they were talking about moving him as well. The Yankees, they loaded up well. I like that who'd they bring in? They brought in Belly, they
They brought
brought
in
in
Freed,
Goldschmidt,
Freed,
Freed.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they brought in another bat as well. Jazz.
Devin Williams.
That lineup with Jazz, Belly, Judge. Um, they have
I
Goldschmidt.
don't love the lineup, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a little old with the names that they brought in. I don't love Jazz. Um,
I like Jazz.
I just don't think enough surrounds Aaron Judge, and I think that that's the main thing
Goldschmidt's
with
a nice bat to have around him, but it's another right-handed power bat.
you don't know because how old
What
is he?
about
I mean,
Belly too, though?
I don't like I've never liked Belly, even
There's
though
just
he
guys that are
wanted to
hot.
be
Jazz and Belly are just so hot and cold.
yeah, Belly's happy to be in New York. I do know that, so I think that that's huge on because
And they can have some facial hair.
I think a lot of his play is confidence and if he's
Can
happy
Garrett
playing
Cole
baseball or
regain
not.
playoff success with that facial hair?
You think that's what it was?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just a little cold out there on the mound. You got to get a nice lip sweater or something like that to keep him warm. A couple other teams out there. I mean, all those new pitching faces out there on the Dodgers are
I
fun to
don't wanna talk
watch.
about the Dodgers.
Oh, I could talk about the Dodgers all day long. That team's
We don't
loaded from
we'll be
top to
talking about
bottom.
that during the
What about
entire
what about
season.
Corbin Burns going to the Diamondbacks? That'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see.
Diamondbacks how'd they do last year? They didn't make the playoffs, did they?
No, but I think they might have made the
Year before they lost in
they were in
the,
that play-in mix though. They have a good enough team. Corbin Carroll started slow and he's starting hot. I'm
yeah.
interested to see the Athletics. They have no affiliation. If you look at their team, they're just called the Athletics. They're
No
not the
way.
Oak. Yeah, because they're not playing in Oakland. Aren't they
Yeah.
playing up in Sacramento or
Yeah, they're
something like
playing
that?
yeah, yeah.
But
That's just crazy to look at. I mean, they're
they
just
will.
not affiliated with any city, they're
They
just
have some good
playing.
names like Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler. They have some young pitchers too,
Yeah, but at the
Mason
end of the
Miller.
day, I mean, come on.
When they go down to Vegas, I bet you that team starts playing
They
good
just got,
baseball.
they got Severino too.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like him? He
Nah,
was good for the
he's
Mets
just
last
middle of
year.
the road. Yeah, he'd be better on a good team, but
Yeah, uh-huh. Where
not
he
on
doesn't have
that
to
one.
be that guy.
I'm excited to see Seattle as well and see what they can do. That's a good team.
After a pretty down year from, J-Rod.
They couldn't hit last year. He was hurt for a little bit too. They brought in some lineup protection around him, but that pitching staff is one of the best ones in the league. So I expect them to get going. I think the Reds actually snap off this year. I could see them making a push for that NL Central. I know that they were
The
kind of
weak
banged up
division.
last year. Yeah, and they were projected to be big ones, but they kind of fell out. So I want to see them get going. I don't really see the Cubs or Cardinals really repeating some success they had, and the Pirates are still in the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
Phillies, they brought in Jesus Luzardo. They got a nice lefty to add to the mix. That team's going to be really strong. The Braves, do you think they'll be healthy? Strider and Acuna coming back? That's going to be the important note there.
They do have a lot of power down there. I don't know, the Braves are so hit or miss. I mean
Literally, their best pitcher and best hitter, who are two of the top players in the league, Strider and Acuna, coming back from injury. How well can they return? That's the big thing.
that's the big question. Yeah, I mean, Acuna, if playing at his peak, is top 3 player in all baseball, so that's obviously a huge guy to get back, but matters if he comes back 100% like he was.
My big thing's going to be seeing a lot of these young guys making an impact on the league too. I'm excited to get that going, but we'll have some more news as spring training rolls along. Like we said, 29 days away, so we'll get some more coming your
You
way.
wanna take, division winners real quick?
It's too early. Let's wait a little bit. Let's wait a little bit. I want to see some spring training play, a little bit more spring training play first. I got to see if some injuries impact people coming back from injuries. More important too. Um, but if I'll rattle them off for you. I'll rattle them off for you. We'll go Red Sox, and then we'll go.
You think the Red Sox are gonna win the division?
Yeah, they're either gonna
Do
be
you
first
really
or
think it, or
second.
are you just going with
No,
with
I
your
do. I do think it. I could see some Yankee implosion, but I got the Red Sox right there. They were a great team last year, and they're even better. They actually have a pitching staff. They brought in Aroldis Chapman, a legit closer too, so that'll be nice to see. In the you want to hear a nice one in the Central there? I'm gonna take the Tigers. I'm gonna take the Tigers to win that
I
division.
like that. I
Yeah, I
like
like
that
the
play.
Tigers there. They have Jackson Jobe coming up, one of the top pitchers. They have reigning AL Cy Young winner in Tariq Skubal. They have some young bats stepping up. Cole Keith, I like him out there. Their bats are going to have to step up a lot more, though. They have my guy Reese Olson pitching out there too. I believe they might have gotten Jack Flaherty back. I can't remember where exactly he went. I know he went to the Dodgers last year. Did he go back to the Tigers? Not too sure. But then some other picks here going out west. I'm gonna take the Astros again. I'm a big Astros guy. I'll stick with them. I think they'll win that division. But Seattle's gonna be really tough to stave off. And then going over to the NL, I'm gonna take the Phillies. I'm gonna take the Phillies there. That's gonna be a tight division. And I think the top three do get in the playoffs. So I'm gonna go Philly, Braves, Mets in that order, but it'll be really tight throughout. In the West, I'm taking the Dodgers 100%. I think
Yeah, same
they
here.
lead.
You didn't
They're
even have to say that.
yeah, they're gonna lead the league in wins. And I got the Reds. I got the Reds winning that middle of the country division.
All right, I'm just gonna rattle them off here. I'm gonna go Yankees, Guardians. Think Guardians that'll be tight, but they'll get back there. I am gonna go with the Mariners here. I think they have a great year. Um, Astros down year. Rangers can't figure it out. That's pretty much it over there. Then I'm gonna go Mets just because I
Yeah, you
you
got 'em.
gotta you gotta hope for the best with
And you
Soto.
got Juan Soto.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go Mets, Brewers, Dodgers.
Brewers, huh?
Yeah. It's such a weak division. They can get through it with even with losing their names. I mean,
Yeah.
I know Corbin Burns and Devin Williams is pretty big, but
The Reds are on the come up.
I can't. You can't. It's like taking the Stars to win the cup. It's like until they do it, you can't actually bet on it. You know.
Yeah, but they were so hurt last year. I just like the youth they had. 2 years ago, they showed us what they had, right? And then they were really injured. I
Let's
think
see them put it all together though.
yeah, we'll see.
Or the
And
Cubs. I have the Cubs right
th
there too.
that's a division that you can put it together pretty easily though, with what you
Mhm.
have to go against.
Yeah,
So,
it's true.
excited for baseball season to get rolling. Love watching those day games especially.
Yeah. All right, let's get into NFL here. A few points. NFL Combine, February 27th
That'll be
and March
fun.
2nd in Lucas Oil
Big
Stadium.
for me since I have top picks in every round.
Yeah, definitely. Abdul Carter shoots up to number 1 in pre-draft rankings. Is he the consensus number 1 pick?
He's the safest pick.
Yeah. I mean, these quarterbacks, there is no safe pick, I don't think. So I
No, this
guess
is a weak quarterback class. I would not wanna take I would trade out of these if I could, if I was that
yeah.
high.
I saw a bunch of teams are a lot of posts saying the Titans were more than willing to trade that number 1 spot. So,
Raiders should trade up and get Shedeur Sanders. That's where I think
mhm.
you should go. Draft Shedeur. I think there's a prop for them to draft Shedeur and Shiloh. It's like crazy odds, but
I
that'd be
did
pretty
see
cool.
that. Yeah, it's like plus 30,000 or
Yeah.
something.
I do think Abdul Carter. I'm kind of pissed that he shot up these rankings. So I really wanted my Patriots to get him at 4. I thought that was a great home run pick there. If not, I
Who?
would take
Abdul?
Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a home run pick. Everybody's
Yeah,
like, "You're gonna take him?" People are like, "You're not gonna take Hunter McMillan." I'm like, "No, I'm taking Abdul Carter." And now
yeah,
they're
his
like,
stock
"Abdul
shot up.
Carter's the number 1." I'm like, "Oh, he's not gonna be there for us
I
because
also
he's can't miss." I would take who is it? Will Campbell, is that his name?
I don't know.
No, the lineman from LSU. Well,
I think it's Will Campbell.
yeah, I would be fine with that. It's a very safe pick. Well, I wanted the safe pick at 4 with the Patriots. I want a stud, one of the best players in the draft, regardless of position. If not, I would be completely fine with trading down to a little outside the top 10 and then taking McMillan there. I see him dropping out of the rankings, especially if you can load up on more assets because we're more than one player away. But I think there's going to be some fireworks in this draft. I expect a couple of moves up. QB needy teams could trade up. I don't see the Browns and Titans. I could see them both trading out of there.
Yeah, definitely. Wait for next year with a little more loaded up of a draft. Zach Martin retires after 11 years. Jason Peters retires after 19 years.
Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Zach Martin is gonna be a big loss for those Cowboys, but guess we'll have to recover to make our line even worse.
Yeah. No running
Um,
game isn't gonna get much better without him.
yeah, I know. Yeah, this makes it even worse, right? Worst running game in the league.
And Dak coming off of injury, you don't like to see that.
Got a draft.
Yeah. But that's the one
Um,
thing that you guys can do. You always find
we
good
always
linemen.
late too.
Yeah.
Late.
Who's the latest one? Who's the young guy on the line that's really good now?
We had Biadash, but he's not on the Cowboys anymore.
Oh.
He was
Yeah.
late. And then
But
we had
they always find people.
Tyron Smith.
Yeah, he's old now.
Yeah. No, who's the other guy? The other Smith.
Do you have Frederick?
Yeah, we had Frederick. We've always had a pretty good line.
Yeah, they can always find people.
Um, Mike Vrabel says you need good players to win, and he likes shopping just like everybody else. The Patriots have been linked to Diggs and T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs, that being,
Yep.
and T. Higgins. Who do you think would be a good fit as free agency approaches?
Honestly, I don't want I would take anybody. I'll take literally anybody. Amari Cooper's out there, Stephon Diggs is out there,
You would take
T.
Amari
Higgins is out
Cooper? I
there.
don't know.
I would take anybody, dude. I would literally take anybody. If
Yeah,
the
but that's not the
bottom
guy you want.
No, no. I think the guy we want is probably T. Higgins. I know we'll have to
T.
overpay to
Higgins.
get him, but we have the money to get him,
It's T. Higgins.
you know?
You don't want
I
that drama queen Stephon Diggs coming off an ACL injury too.
Yeah, right. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing. I meant to say this when we traded back too. I saw the Patriots were linked with Ashton Genty too. That would be a pretty nice guy to add to the offense to get Drake May and Genty.
Yeah, but you have
Um,
Andre.
he's not very good.
He's not bad.
No, he's just middle of the road. We'll send him to you guys. You'd love him down
I'd
there.
take him for
But
sure.
he
I
can't.
would also
We
take
we
Jesse.
need we need a guy who can catch passes, get back to that traditional Patriots offense, especially when McDaniels has the OC again, and we need someone that can be reliant. Like Stevenson isn't a focal point of an offense like Genty would be.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
but they're gonna make some moves in free agency. They're gonna get a big name. Keenan Allen's out there too. That wouldn't be a bad veteran to bring in. He's a good pass catcher. I know he doesn't like to play the full year. He's a little bit past his prime. But just get me someone. Give someone to
Drake May
Drake
can throw the
May that's
football.
legit, because Drake May can throw it to everybody. But it would be nice to give him some help.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
trust I trust Vrabel's vision too. What a great hire by the Patriots.
Breakout wide receiver Khalil Shakir signs a 4-year, $60 million extension with the Bills. Good deal, overpaid. What do you think?
Overpaid,
Overpaid for
overpaid.
sure. But I mean, he played a great role for those Bills last year.
Security blanket for Josh
A
Allen.
very depleted wide receiver room, and he stepped up big time. Yards after catch were great. Expected Keon Coleman to step up a little more, didn't.
He's gonna be
Um,
great though too.
yeah, I think he'll be good. He just needed a
So
little
that
longer
means
to
they
get.
lose Amari Cooper, right?
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah, I
for
just
sure.
said that. Yeah.
Um, but
But
60 mil, 15
I don't
million,
think he was getting that much money.
15 mil a year, I think is a little too much.
Yeah. Maybe it's because it's a strong market and they knew they had to pay him and they kept their guy. He knows the playbook well. He's a tough receiver. He
I
gets
think
those
I think the Bills just realized that they don't need that number one guy either. Josh
they
Allen
need the
can
right
do it.
guy.
Yeah, exactly. Josh
And
Allen can.
he moves the sticks. He knows the routes. He can go deep, stay short. He's a speed guy, takes the big hits. He knows the playbook. He's been there. Great connection with Allen, so I get it. But I still think they overpaid for him, especially on a hometown discount on a guy you didn't expect to leave. Could have
Yeah,
gotten him for a
that
little bit
too.
less.
That too. It's like he's probably gonna stay in Buffalo. You could offer him a little less. Good agent.
35 guaranteed, I think.
Uh-huh. All right. The Saints hired hit the books enemy Brandon Staley to their staff as defensive coordinator. Is this team destined as a last place finish?
I think they could be.
With the way that Bryce Young played at the end of last year, I think the Saints are in deep trouble for
I'm
that last
saying
spot.
last place in the league.
Oh, that too. Yeah. I mean, whoever comes in last place in that division is probably coming last place in the league.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Saints are in trouble for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Brandon Staley, I mean, maybe he
Maybe in a depleted, not in a head coaching
yeah,
position.
that's what I'm saying.
He
A
could
lot
do
of
a little
former head
better.
coaches that don't do too well, usually good
Yeah,
coordinators,
for
though.
sure. When they're concentrated on one little
Yeah,
aspect.
they're not
But,
running a team either because he can't run a team.
no, I mean we've seen that in
Get
and
him
out.
away from the microphones, get him away from your quarterback,
Even though
especially.
we saw that he wasn't the problem, but we'll talk
Why? They
about.
had a great year. They had
Yeah,
a
in that
great
first round
year.
exit in the playoffs, right? Yeah.
Who'd they lose to? A home team.
Texans. The
Yeah,
Texans who
yeah,
sucked.
yeah. Well, that's all right.
Sucked
Harbaugh's a
towards the
great
end of
coach.
the year.
Harbaugh's a great coach.
Great coach, but he's obviously. I mean, maybe
But they
we
also
should
got rid of all
maybe
of
we should start
Herbert's.
looking at somebody else.
They literally got rid of all of Herbert's
Maybe
weapons.
we should start looking at somebody else.
I almost sent you guys a post today. It was like athletes that are the most glazed in every sport. And it was like Mahomes, Otani, LeBron, Bronny. And then it said Justin Herbert. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I didn't think people glazed him that
No,
much, but I
dude.
guess they
The
do.
amount of hypothetical situations they put him in, like, oh, if Justin Herbert had a good coach, if
He's
Justin Herbert had a
good
good
though.
defense,
He's
Justin Herbert
good.
had. Listen, there was a lot of times last year where I was like, all right, these receivers just aren't catching his passes, but he threw 4 interceptions in that playoff game. Can't.
How funny is it that they're linking Keenan Allen going back to the Chargers?
He should just hang him up. I'm surprised he's
No,
even
he's
still
great. He's a
playing.
great receiver. He's a great receiver.
Can't stay healthy. He's one of those guys I feel like would just get in the league and get out.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys. Well, he's been there. He's been here for over a decade, which is
Yeah,
pretty
but this is
crazy.
about the time where you would expect him to get out of the league.
But did you not see him in the second half? That's why I read a lot of comments though. He's one of those guys that doesn't really care until it's the end of the year. He's got stat pad a little bit. That's the one reason I wouldn't want him in New England. I think his skills are great. He has a nose for the end zone. He's got great hands and a good route runner. But he just seems like he doesn't give a fuck sometimes.
Yeah, especially with a team that needs him like that in New England, you
Yeah.
can't really.
But
Can't
he
really put
could
him in that
go out there
position.
and play with Lad McConkey. And what about Quentin Johnston? I mean, I know that he was terrible as rookie. He looked a little bit better last year.
He definitely looked a lot better, and when
Yeah.
you have the addition of Lad McConkey, who's getting most of the attention over there,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah, and they also have J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. Gus Edwards gave him a little help, but ended up getting injured. J.K. Dobbins stepped up big. The offense played pretty good
Will
last year. The
Dissly had a
defense was
breakout
top
year.
3 in the league. I mean,
Harbaugh's just a great coach.
the fact that that team didn't win a playoff game just says a lot, I think. But we'll run it back again next year when you guys take them in the first round and they're 5-point favorites and they lose by 20 again. I'm sure we'll be
I
having
took
the
the
same
Texans in that
conversation.
game. Don't worry. Underdog, home dogs, home dogs.
Oh, I definitely did too.
Yeah.
But, other than that, no more headlines. That's it. You got anything else to say?
No, yeah, like we said, NFL free agency is not too far away either. The draft's not too far away. Those are going to be some big things that we'll keep you guys informed on. Definitely stay tuned to our socials. We're posting a lot of content out there for all the various leagues. A lot of the good stuff going on. MLB just around the corner too. Like we said, college basketball, the tournament's coming around. Mac, you want to give any quick college basketball plugs?
Yeah, well, obviously we're getting to that point in the season where college basketball is becoming pretty important. I think most teams have 3 conference games left, and then we'll hit conference tournaments. I think the 11th or 12th, March 11th or 12th, we'll start that. So obviously, gonna have to lock in there. Get
Give me your
into
two favorites to win the whole thing, and then give me one dark horse.
Auburn and Duke. I mean, that's the
Those
2
are the
obvious
two.
ones.
Yeah, I saw that's like a
My
Dempsey
2
Field.
favorites are gonna be Auburn and Houston, though. I think Houston's defense will get
Who's
them
a
there.
dark horse?
I don't even wanna call them a dark horse because 'cause they're ranked 7th in the
St.
country.
John's.
St. John's.
I've been reading that a lot.
'Cause they're still a dark horse, even though they're 7th in the country, they're still a dark horse. They're 3 and 4 in quad 1. They're gonna be a 4th seed, and they're a 7th seed in the AP poll.
That's weird.
So that team, I mean, Rick Pitino has those guys locked down
Great coach.
behind
Yeah, you
Houston.
gave a great speech the other day that I ended up playing for my hockey team I coached about
Did you?
overcoming adversity. Oh, yeah, about
Dude,
overcoming adversity in the second half, and,
he's the last hard-nosed coach in college basketball with those greats, with, like, Roy Williams, Krzyzewski, Boeheim. He's still going, and he doesn't get the recruiting that those other guys do either, so give a lot of credit to Rick Pitino. I think St. John's can go on a run. One other team deep I can give, um, go with a team like I don't know, maybe Ole Miss. Ole Miss has shooters from the outside. They just don't play enough defense. Um,
but in
anyone
the
in the
tournament, it looks
SEC,
like you can just score.
yeah, anyone
You
in
you
the
can move on.
SEC can really get the job done. But other than that, just look forward to our picks.
Look out for the, Hit the Books bracket too. I know Huff's putting together a nice little, bracket challenge too, so we'll get that out to the people, and stay tuned to our socials for our plays. Like we said, all the cards heating up.
Yes, sir. All right, that'll do it.